One might ask what would happen when we add vectors that are parallel to each other. We still again use the tape-to-tail method like we discussed earlier. For example, in this case, we have two vectors, vector A and vector B. We add them up by starting with vector A. At the tip of vector A, we place the tail of vector B, and then we get the sum, the resultant, by joining the tail of vector A to the tip of vector B. That's what we get, vector R. That's our vector sum. You notice that it points in the same direction as both vectors, obviously. One thing that you might notice, the magnitude of R in this case is equal to the magnitude of A plus the magnitude of B. I drew both vectors pointing to the right. The same thing would apply if I had them both pointing towards the left. The next question is, what if I have vectors that are opposite in direction, like C and D in this case? C is pointing towards the right, as you can see from here, and D is pointing towards the left. We still use the tail-to-tip method. So I start with C, and then at the tip of C, I draw D, and then I get the sum by joining the tail of C to the tip of D. That's my resultant in this case. Now, however, notice the magnitude in this case. The magnitude of R is the absolute value of the magnitude of C minus the magnitude of D. Since the magnitude of D is in the opposite direction, since D is in the opposite direction, not the magnitude is always positive. By putting the absolute value here, if D was larger, this still can apply. Remember, our magnitudes are always positive.